Have you tried your hands at pixel macrame yet? If not, this is the video to start with. Hey everyone, it's Nicole here from Bochiknot Macrame, and I'm super excited to be sharing with you today's tutorial on how to make a 2-color macrame coaster using pixel macrame techniques. Pixel macrame is taking pixel art and turning it into a macrame version of it. A more complex pixel macrame is turning something like this into this. But before we get into something a little bit more advanced, we are going to start with the basics on applying 2 different colored cords into a checkered macrame coaster. This pattern is fairly simple in that you don't have to follow a specific grid pattern to make it. Because it's really only 2 colors and 1 set pattern, I'll be walking you through in this tutorial how we get to a checkered pattern. If you guys are ready, grab your cords and let's jump right in. For this particular pattern, you will only need 3mm macrame cord. I'm sure you can do it with 4mm macrame cord as well. I would just add a little bit more cord lengths to the suggested ones right here. And you will also need a dowel to mount your initial cords onto. The cord that I will be using for this pattern is a 3mm single strand cord from our rainbow cord line. This is a soft and sturdy cord made from 100 recycled cotton fibers, making it the perfect cord for macrame artists at all skill levels. Start by hanging up your wooden dowel and then taking a strand of color 1 cord at about 71 centimeters long. We're going to attach it onto the dowel using a large set knot. And then we're going to repeat for the remaining 71 centimeter cords to the right for a total of 9 large set knots on the dowel. Take a strand of color 2 cord at 100 centimeters long, and we're going to leave about 10 inches of space at the end of the strand of cord, and we're going to make a vertical double half hitch knot onto the far left vertical cord. Start by making a half hitch knot and then finish off with another half hitch knot to finish the vertical double half hitch knot. Then continue the same knot pattern over to the right 5 more times. We're going to divide this pattern into 3 sections of 6 cords each. Now taking a strand of color 1 cord at 100 centimeters long, we're going to repeat the same pattern with the middle 6 cord section. So starting off by leaving 10 inches of space on the left end of the cord, we're going to make a row of 6 vertical double half hitch knots to the right. Now taking a strand of 100 centimeter color 2 cord, we're going to start from the far right side this time
leave 10 inches, and then make 6 vertical double half-inch knots from right to left. Make a total of 6 vertical double half-inch knots. Once the first row of the pattern has been completed, we're now going to work on our second row. We're going to go back to the left side of the pattern again and start from the left to the right. Now we're going to take the long color 2 cord on the left side and bring it from right to left with another row of vertical double half-inch knots. But this time we're going to include the cord beside it to the right, which should be the 10-inch end of the pattern, and include it as part of the anchor cord for this first double half-inch knot. So include it with the far right vertical cord underneath the section. Pull on the knot tightly to secure it, and then continue to the left with 5 more vertical double half-inch knots. Now for the middle section, with that far right ending cord, which is the longer cord, we're going to bring it back over to the left, and we're also going to include the cord beside it to the right as part of the anchor cords in the middle. Then continue over to the left for 5 more vertical double half-inch knots. Now onto the right side, we're going to take that long color 2 cord and bring it back to the right. So starting with that far left vertical cord underneath the section as the anchor cord, we're going to take the color 2 cord and make a vertical double half hitch knot, and then make 5 more to the right. Now back over to the left section, we're going to take another strand of color 2 cord, and we're going to start by making 5 vertical double half hitch knots to the right first. Once the 5 vertical double half hitch knots are made, we're going to include 3 cords as anchor cords this time for the last vertical double half hitch knot on the right. So we are going to include the 2 that was already hanging down vertically, and then the cord next to it to the right. So for this last vertical double half hitch knot, there should be 3 anchor cords. Now we're going to take a strand of color 1 cord, and instead of starting from left to right in the middle section, we're going to mirror what we have done with the right section and start from right to left. So leave 10 inches on the right end and start with the right cord as the anchor cord for a row of vertical double half hitch knots to the left. Then take a strand of color 2 cord, and for the right section, start from right to left. Once you're done, take that right cord, the working cord we were just using, and we're going to go back from left to right underneath that section. So taking the long cord beside it, include it as an anchor cord with the far left vertical cord underneath the section, and take the color 2 working cord and make a vertical double half hitch knot. Then continue with 5 more vertical double half hitch knots to the right. Then with the middle section, repeat the same thing, and with the long cord on the left, the working cord that we had used, we're going to include the cord next to it on the left, the color 2 cord, with the anchor cord on the left side, and make a vertical double half-hitch knot. There should be 2 anchor cords for this vertical double half-hitch knot, similar to the one that we had done on the right side, and then make 5 more vertical double half-hitch knots to the right. Then on the left side, we're going to take that long color 2 cord from underneath the middle section, and we're going to make a series of 6 vertical double half-hitch knots back to the left side. So the far right vertical double half-hitch knot will consist of 3 anchor cords, since there were already 3 cords underneath above, and then we're going to make 5 more double half-hitch knots to the left. And we have now completed our first row of the checkered pattern. We're going to repeat this pattern 2 more times below. Take another color 1 strand of cord and make a row of 6 vertical double half-hitch knots on the left section from left to right. Taking a color 2 strand of cord, with the middle section, we're going to make a row from right to left. Then with the far right side, we're going to take a color 1 cord and make 5 double half-hitch knots from right to left, stopping before the 6th double half-hitch knot. For the 6th double half-hitch knot, we're going to gather 3 cords together, so the 2 anchor cords from above and then also the cord next to it on the left. Now to make sure we don't gather too many cords in the center, underneath the right side of the far left section, there are 3 anchor cords, and because we're going to add another one, we're going to cut off an anchor cord in the middle. So taking the shortest cord, we're going to cut off the excess cord. Then include the right cord next to it as part of the anchor cord for a vertical double half-hitch knot. And this will be the start of the row of vertical double half-hitch knots from right to left. Then with the middle section, take the left color 2 cord and bring it back over to the right with 6 vertical double half-hitch knots. For the last double half hitch knot on the right, include the cord next to it to the right as part of the anchor cord bunch for a vertical double half hitch knot. So there should be 3 cords as anchor cords for this double half hitch knot. Then taking the long color 1 cord, bring it back from left to right for the far right section. The first double half hitch knot should have the 3 anchor cords already from above, and then continue making 5 more vertical double half hitch knots to the right after that. If at any point in the pattern the 3 cords are making the knot stand out too much, you can always snip off the shortest cord in the anchor cord bunch so that you only have 1 or 2 cords in the center. Now taking another color 1 cord, we're going to start on the left section from left to right. Now take a color 2 cord for the middle section and go from left to right. Before we start the right section, we're going to snip off one of the cords underneath the left side of the right section. And then now you can take a new strand of color 1 cord and start from right to left. Now to come back the other direction, we're going to start on the left side, and we're going to take the long color 1 cord and then include the cord next to it on the right for a double half hitch knot, then make 5 more to the left. Before we now continue with the middle section, we're first going to cut off the excess cords on the right side. So underneath the right side there should be 3 anchor cords, and within those 3 anchor cords are 2 color 2 cords. We're going to cut off both of those excess cord ends. Now taking the long color 2 cord from the side, we're going to bring it back from right to left, starting with the cord underneath and then including the cord next to on the right for 2 anchor cords. Then make 5 more double half hitch knots to the left. Then taking that long cord from underneath the right side of the middle section, we're going to bring it back over to the right section for 6 double half hitch knots. So we're going to start underneath the left section again, but before we do that, we're going to cut off some excess cord on the right side. And this time we're going to cut off the color 2 cord from the anchor cord bunch on the right side. Once this is complete, repeat for another checkered section below, starting with color 2. Once you are done the pattern, we're going to take the pattern off of the dowel and cut off all excess cord. And this is what the pattern should look like once the cords have been trimmed. Ensure that at the bottom of the pattern, where there are excess cords, to cut off the excess cords so that there is only one cord remaining under each column. Then at the top of the pattern, there should be loose cords there once the lark's head knots have been loosened up. Cut in the center of each loop so that it forms individual strands of fringe. Now you can leave your fringe this length, but what I'm going to do is comb through the fringe and then retrim them to a shorter length.
And that is a wrap with our checkered coaster pattern. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little introduction pattern on pixel macrame. Pixel macrame is following a particular pattern using colors and whatnot to create a pixelated picture. This month in our exclusive community on Patreon, we are diving a little deeper on pixel macrame and how you can design your own. If you guys are interested in learning more, make sure you head on over to patreon.com/Bochiknot for more details. If you guys enjoyed this tutorial, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and let me know in the comment section below if there are any particular pixel macrame designs you want to see on my channel. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.